Hi guys, welcome to the channel. On this video, we're going to unbox this Tanjiro and Hashira mascot set A and B from Mega House. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And by the way, I got this set from the little kid inside. You might want to check them out. As you can see, the front has this large window where you can see all the figures, the logo of Demon Slayer, the set, and the logo of Mega House. And on one side, you can see the artwork for the figure Tanjiro, Giyu, and Shinobu. On the other side is Rengoku, Gyomei, and the mascot set A. At the back is just a creative shot of all the figures included on this line, warnings, licenses, and such. And at the top, you can just see the Tanjiro with Hashira. And at the bottom are just Japanese writings, which unfortunately I can't read. Now let's take out our trusty cutter and start unboxing. Well, that's unfortunate, but that just happens. I didn't actually realize that these figures has their own bases, but let's check them out. The bases were actually pretty cool as they have the names on it to avoid confusion. Now let's unbox the set B. It's pretty much the same with just like a darker shade of gray. And on one side you can see the artwork for Obanai, Mitsuri, and Michiro. And on the left side you can see Sanemi, Tengen, and the set B. Now that we all got all the figures out, let's check out the details. First, we got Tanjiro. I like how detailed this small figure is, from the paint job on his face, the sculpt of his hair, his earrings, the paint on his robe and uniform are actually pretty good. Now let's check out Giyu, the water Hashira. The details on this small figure is actually spot on too. And I like how they put gradient effect on his hair. And look how detailed the robe is. Let's move on with Shinobu, the insect Hashira. The gradient effect on her hair and her eyes were done perfectly. Her hair accessory is actually detailed too, and her robe is a spot on with such details. Now let's take a closer look with the Fire Hashira Rengoku. The paint job on his face, the sculpt on his hair, the gradient and the paint job on his hair is actually really incredibly well done. Same goes with the paint job and the details on his robe. And his facial expression is a spot on. Now let's move on with Gyomei, the stone Hashira. I love how much effort they've put on creating all these small details included on this figure. Especially the beads on his like rosary-like accessory, the writings on his robe, the patches on his robe. Yeah, the figure is actually spot on too, especially the eyes and the details on his head. Next we have here is Muichiro, the Miss Hashira, which surprisingly is the only one which has plastic on his peg. I think just because the paint job on his hair. Muichiro is by far the most simplest of all the Hashira, but the effort they put on the paint job on his hair and how he looks exactly the same is pretty cool. Next one we have here is Mitsuri the Love Hashira. Look how cute the facial expression is and the pose of this figure. I like what they did with the sculpt of her hair. And look how perfect the colors were. The hole for her base stand is also on top of her hair, just like Muichiro. Now let's check out Sanemi the Wind Hashira. The details and the paint job of this figure is really incredibly well done too. Look how good all the details on his face are. Now let's get to Obanai the Serpent Hashira. Look how incredibly well done the paint job on his face. How they did the snake. The paint job on his whole uniform is pretty cool. And the last figure and the last Hashira we have is Tengen the Sound Hashira. Don't you love the details on his headpiece where? The paint job is pretty spot on too. And those dangling pieces on his headpiece are pretty much well done. His arm pieces are well painted too. And I also like how they did his two swords. Now let's check how big these figures are. If you're familiar with Nendoroid Petite, the size is actually similar to those. We have here the regular Tanjiro Kamado Nendoroid, and side by side with the Mega House Tanjiro Kamado figure, you can actually notice that the Nendoroid is so much bigger than the Mega House mascot figures. And if you're only planning to collect all the 4 main characters of the anime, these figures will be a good addition to your display. Now let's take a 360 look of these figures. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like and do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Till my next video!